You guys ever record 3 intros without the batteries being in your microphone? It's a super good time. The other intros are absolutely brilliant. I don't think I can reproduce them, so sorry about that. Today I want to talk about something that I deem to be one of the most important parts of fishing, and that's playing the long game. It's less of concentrating on what did I accomplish today, but what did I accomplish for my future. At the end of the video, I'm also going to throw at you what I deem to be one of the most important things about how to become a guide. I get that question all the time. How do I become a guide? Well, I'm going to lay on you what I deem to be one of the biggest and first steps towards getting there. Hey, almost 2 million minutes watched on this channel in 10 months. I'm completely flattered. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys are seeing some value here. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And then we're at 7,000 subscribers, pushing our way to 10. You guys are liking the videos. YouTube's loving it. It's spreading the love. Thank you so much. But again, let's talk about what I deem to be very important and something that I think everybody needs to hear. First things first, Saturday morning, the Got Fish Expo is in Galveston or Hitchcock, or it's somewhere down there. Go Google Got Fish Expo. I'm gonna be there Saturday morning. I'm getting to where whenever I go to Academy or Anglers Anonymous or something, I meet a lot of you guys and I have a great time talking to you. I'm gonna go down there for the sole purpose of just hanging out, having a good time. I'm either gonna be at Laguna Rods, Laguna Madre Clothing, Bad Marine, or SeaDek, the Castaway Customs company. I've got a cooler that I'm taking down to Castaway Customs, and they're putting a personalized mat, I guess, on top of it. It's going to be really neat, and I'm really looking forward to it. But today I have something. It's less training you how to fish and more training your mind, and I'll give you some insight into that. Whenever I'm out fishing, and I'm fishing 20 plus days a month, easily every month. And coming up with a topic every week, it can be difficult. I'll come up with something and I'm like, well, I just did something like that about a month ago. Maybe not now. Or I get a lot of suggestions from you guys. And so, hey, in the comments, continue to give me suggestions about what y'all would like to see. Let me know if you're going to be at the Galveston, at the Got Fish Expo. But I'm out there and I'm usually looking around or talking to my customers or just talking to myself, to be honest, on, what are we going to do this week? What are we going to do? And I've had some customers over the past couple of weeks that the fishing's been tough. I'm going to be dead honest with you guys. The fishing has been tough, especially here on the Middle Coast. The water, up until this cold front yesterday, the water was up to 70. The water on the shoreline looked good. The bait was so thick you could walk across it, and the fish just aren't pulling up. There's something going on where they're not really pulling up, and we're just trying to figure that out. But I'm sitting here and I'm watching my customers fish, as I always do, and they're making the right moves. They're working their lures in an effective manner, and still we're not getting a lot of bites. And so then the customer, they've said to me, they said, well, I thought it was my fault. I thought I was the problem. And that, while it can certainly be true, a lot of the times it's not. And so the message that I would give to you guys is, have confidence in yourself, have faith in yourself, go out there and make the grind, but it's not always going to work. The stuff we talk about here, the stuff we talk about on Bite Me, the stuff you read in the magazine, it doesn't work every time. If it did, I wouldn't be a guide. I would be a full-time tournament fisherman, and I would, make a ton of money because, hey, this is what they're supposed to do, so that means it's what they're gonna do, which means if I do what I'm supposed to do, which means that I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, I'm gonna, work my Corky like this, and I'm gonna stand right here on this flat next to this drop-off with all this bait and this pretty water and this tidal movement, and I'm gonna catch big fish. I mean, it just doesn't work like that. Now, right now, we're wrapping up January, and January can be an absolutely brutal month. And the way that is kind of shaken out, February could certainly be the same way. Now, you can go out and you can grind and grind and grind and catch that 1 fish, 2 fish. It's certainly doable, as what I plan on doing. But you could go out and grind and catch nothing. You could go out and grind and catch, 100 fish. That's just fishing. That's how it works. So, you know, again, have confidence in yourself, do your homework, you know, make the moves to the best of your abilities, and if you don't catch fish in the day, don't completely blame yourself. Now, what I am always trying to improve, you know, myself, I fish with other fishermen and I pick up stuff off of them still today. I don't plan to ever stop doing that. The day that you've decided that you know it all, you're good, is the day that you start to decline. And that goes across life, not just fishing, across life. Always be striving to get better and trying to, you know, hone your skill. And if you're able to learn from others, you know, do it. Absolutely do it. That's not what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is don't blame yourself all the time. Now, one thing that I do try to do is every time I go out, whether I catch fish or not, I try to come back to the harbor a better fisherman. If that means I'm gonna ride around in my boat and I'm going to, if the tide's low, I'm gonna, you know, look for new reefs or new guts or stuff like that. I'm gonna do it. Whenever the weather's bad and I'm out there, you know, yesterday it was just nuking, you know, 20 to 30 mile an hour winds out of the north all day long, and the bay was tore up. It was hard to fish it. But whenever I came back to the harbor, I think we caught one fish in the bay, and then, you know, we went to some deeper water and caught a handful of fish. But whenever I got back to the harbor, in my mind, what I had achieved that day was, okay, when the wind is blowing this hard from this direction, this part of the bay is going to stay green and around it's going to streak up. So if I find myself in a situation later down the road, whether it be a tournament or, you know, it's just a day that's the only day I can fish and I want to go fish and it's blowing like that, well, now whenever I go back, I know there's a good chance that there's good water in this area. And, you know, that rings true for wherever you're at in the country. If the weather's bad and you're not catching fish, you can still learn where there might be some good water at, or some protected water, or with this wind direction, this is what the tide was doing. Was it dumping? Was it pushing in? You know, things like that. Now, whenever I'm out drifting, and, you know, it could be perfectly bluebird, just the best, you know, prettiest day out there, no wind, no anything. It could be low pressure and cloudy, and I should be just catching fish every cast, and I'm not. So I'm out there, I'm throwing a 1/4 ounce jig head with a plastic, as I typically do out of the boat, and I hang some shell. Well, okay, maybe I'll cast right back to that spot, but maybe 5 feet past it, and hang some shell again. Well, that's something I'm gonna mark on my GPS. If you've ever been on my boat, my GPS is covered with little blue X's. Those aren't spots where I've caught a fish before. Those are spots that I hung a small piece of shell, or maybe I put my power poles down to, you know, get something to drink or make a sandwich or whatever, and I heard those crunch shell. You know, I'm putting that X there. And so what you're doing effectively is, maybe you didn't catch fish today, but you marked 3 new reefs, or you learned where some color was and some wind. And so what you did really is you gave yourself the ability to come back and catch fish many more times. So don't look at it as, I didn't catch fish today, I suck. Look at it as, I went out today, the fishing was tough, but I learned something new today. There's new marks on my GPS, there's new this, there's new that. So now I have something in my arsenal to go back. And a question I get all the time, I get it probably 5 times a day in my messenger, and I don't mind it. If you're one of the guys that sent it, I had no problem talking back to you. If you're one of the guys that are thinking about sending it, then fine, come on with it. But I get this question a lot. How do I become a guide? How do I do that? Whenever you have an arsenal of reefs and drains and all this stuff, and you understand what that bay is gonna do and all these different conditions, that's whenever you've taken a step to becoming that guide. If you're one of the guys that goes out and, you know, you fish in November and the birds are working and you catch a bunch of fish, that's not really time. Okay, you know, I went out, had a good month, caught a bunch of fish. My mom, my dad, my friends came, we're doing good. You know, let's go get our captain's license. That's not always the time to do that. The time to do that is whenever year round you understand what is happening out there. Once you understand that, then you've taken that step. So again, just because you didn't go catch a bunch of fish does not mean that you're not a good fisherman, and it definitely doesn't have to mean that you didn't become a better fisherman today. Go out there, you know, and train your mind. A lot of my videos are about training your muscles or training your eyes. You need to train your mind to every day. This is how we become better and better and better. And pretty soon you're gonna find yourself, you know, being up in that top tier of fishermen. So that's it. That's the message today, guys. I wanted to, you know, share a little bit of the inside of, you know, how a lot of our minds work. So I hope you enjoyed it. In the video, in the comments down below, let me know if you enjoyed it, because I've got a lot more of this stuff loaded. I do a lot of thinking about this kind of stuff. So that's it, and we will catch you on the next one.